Hello everyone, and welcome to episode 143 of LostinTranslationmon. I'm May.
And I'm Jay.
And this time we watched I To See You, Angie.
Or Burn, Crossheart.
And Treasure, Traps, and Trouble, Oh My.
Or Sand Zone, a Griat adventure in the ruins.
I thought you were just going to say in the runs. And
nope, ruins.
We also watched Mikey, Warrior of Light.
Or Taiki, Warrior of the Goddess.
For news, a bunch of merchandise that's been released, so we won't cover that because I covered a lot on the latest With the World podcast. There's a lot of it, and I'm not going to buy any of it because I'm good.
That's kind of amazing. I don't believe you.
It's really hard. That there's a Tai Chi hoodie that's got the goggles, and it's like meant to be like his shirt, and it's one that they first released like a couple years ago at DigiFairs, and they're re-releasing it, and I just want it, but like it's also like $180, so I can't.
That's too bad.
And I'm not even going to buy it for myself for my birthday. I'm going to stay away from it. I'm going to be good.
I legitimately don't believe you.
I'll be good.
I just don't believe you. You should know that.
I know, but I've got to be good. And then, for LostinTranslationmon, I'm just having a heads up that we're recording this online. We're recording it at different locations, both recording on Audacity, and then I'm merging the tracks together. So, apologies for the lack of our usual audio quality.
It was necessary.
And Obnoxious Synopsis was also recorded online, so hopefully the audio quality is not too bad. I'll do what I can to make it sound okay when I'm editing, but like, just if the audio quality is a bit less, that's why.
Good luck.
The first episode we're watching this week is going to be called I To See You, Angie, or Crossheart Burn. What do you think will happen in this episode?
So what was the first one called?
I To See You, Angie.
Ice to See You. Wait, did Ice Digimon die last episode?
No.
He just hung out, right?
Yep.
Okay, so he'll be back doing stuff, and Crossheart Burn. That doesn't mean any... Oh, I get it. It's Crossheart Burn. I assume that's the pun?
Well, that's the Japanese title, so I'm not sure how that translates.
Oh, if it's in Japanese, then it's probably just like, it's the fighting spirit. But, yeah, I have no idea what could happen in those. My only guess is that, Ice Devimon comes back, and I guess Angie has more stuff to do in this episode?
Do you remember what happened at the end of the last episode?
No.
Taiki passed out.
Oh, yeah. Oh, well, that'd be interesting if she has to, like, take over the defense of the castle for a while, because he's passed out and can't do anything, and Ice Devimon is still around. That makes sense.
Do you think anything will annoy you in this episode?
I think that Taiki's going to be, like, completely dead for, like, the entire thing, and only wake up when it's dramatically convenient.
Do you think it'll be a good episode?
You know what? Probably. It'll be decent.
What rating?
Like a 6. Like, not really good, just decent.
Filler or not filler?
Oh, it can't be. That's the sort of nature of all of these mini arcs, is that, like, they have to proceed things along.
But also the Royal Knights arc was, I think we mention this every time, that was more or less like plot convenient, but it was still like, could be argued to be filler.
But I guess the difference is that in that one, the same thing happened every time, and in this, and like, none of them had to be done multiple times. They could have shown you it once, and that'd been enough. The difference with the Code Crowns is they are individual stories, and you have to collect them individually to do it. You don't need to eat the entire world one chunk at a time, because you can imply that. That's fine.
The second episode we're watching this week will be called Treasure, Traps, and Trouble, Oh My, or Sand Zone, A Great Adventure in the Ruins. What do you think will happen in this episode?
I think we're going to have like a fun caper where they're heading through like a pyramid, and there's like, they do a classic thing where they step on the flagstone and it depresses in. They're like, oh no, didn't expect traps in here, and they'll run past the wall that shoots arrows at them. There'll be a boulder that rolls after them, like the classics. And then they'll think there's a code crown in the pyramid, but then it turns out the pyramid's a Digimon. No, it could be lots of stuff. They already did that with the island zone. But it'll probably be the case that things get complicated somehow, and they will also... It's a different zone. So which of the generals haven't they fought yet? Blastmon. Blastmon will be the bad guy.
Do you think anything will annoy you in this episode?
I can't think of anything. I guess implicitly they have to have defeated Ice Devimon last episode. And Blastmon they've been keeping in shadows for some reason. So I guess if it was pointless for them to do that, like it becomes evident there was no reason for them to hide his face.
Do you think it'll be a good episode?
You know what? Not really. Although, because especially in English, when I think that Jeremy will drop a lot of video game puns. A lot of them.
Filler or not filler?
Well, again, it can't really be. Although, that said, it's basic enough it could be, but it's one of those things where I can't really say when there's Code Crown arc, when there's 3 episodes per thing, it can't not progress things. It's just progressing it really slowly.
And the third episode we're watching this week is called Mikey, Warrior of Light, or Taiki, Warrior of the Goddess. What do you think will happen in this episode?
Kari from Adventure shows up. Like, I've got pretty much nothing here. That gives me no information whatsoever.
Do you think anything will annoy you, or are you not sure?
It will annoy me if I was going to say if Equilibrium shows up, but that's actually cool. Equilibrium. Oh wait, Homeostasis. Homeostasis is cool. The problem is, oh god, what's it called? What's the other god we always hate?
Yggdrasil?
Yggdrasil. If it's going to be like Yggdrasil shows up again, and it's even more confusing. I wouldn't put anything past Digimon at this point.
Do you think it'll be a good episode?
Look, I want to be hopeful, but it's clear that pretty much nothing happens in the episode except that. Otherwise, I would have mentioned something. I don't know. So let's go with a no and see what happens.
What rating?
I want to say like a. Oh, I'm going to be really pessimistic about it for fun. I think it'll be like a 4.
Wow, that's a pretty low rating. I don't think you've rated any episodes that low yet.
I just think it'll be really dumb. I don't know. It could be fine, but I'm definitely hedging against it.
Filler or not filler?
It's not going to be filler. Oh, by the way, I guess as a reasoning for that low rating, I already have in my mind. Remember we had this whole conversation about the difference between a god and a king.
Yeah.
When it came to Yggdrasil. Well, here's the problem. If there is a goddess, then why do you need a king? What's the code crown for?
All right.
Yeah, pretty much. It's confusing.
As for the writers of the episodes, episode 11 was written by the series composition writer Riku Sanjo, who previously worked on episodes 1 to 3, 10 and 10 to 11, and a lot of Kamen Rider. And then for episode 12, we have Shoji Yonemura, who wrote scripts for Pokemon, Lupin 3rd, lots of Kamen Rider, and episodes 7 to 9. And then for episode 13, we have someone new, Mitsumi Ito, and I couldn't find what else that they've worked on. Any changes in your predictions?
Not particularly. Although the fact that there's a writer that like has done pretty much, or has done nothing of note that you can find is concerning, which tells me that I'm probably right. That's going to be a bad one. But it'd be really funny if that was like the best episode they'd ever done.
And it's like, it blows even V-Tame and Atmon out of the water.
That'd be great. Impossible, but great.
I mean, you always want to aim for that, right?
Yeah, but the problem is that for it to do that, the things before it also have to be good.
Yeah, true. Any other predictions?
No, that's really all I got.
Alright, on to the show.
Alright.
Episode 11 starts off more or less where episode 10 finished, so Postmon is watching over Taiki, and Akari runs off and he's nervous. In the dub,
Or in the English.
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
No, you can say it.
In the English, she basically the whole thing is you slowly discover over the course of the episode that her issue is not that she's actually jealous of the princess, although I guess it's implied that a little bit as well. But it's mostly that she doesn't feel like she's useful because she'd usually be the one who's looking after him. In the English, she just says it. No, I guess you didn't need me after all. And then she just runs away.
See, I like the way that the original's kind of like subtle with this because you think, oh, she's just being jealous, but it turns out that it has nothing to do with her being jealous about Taiki being looked after by someone or jealous of another woman being with Taiki. No, she's just upset because she feels unneeded, and this was shown early on when they're back at the island zone and they're all snorkeling and she's just like, hey, what do I do? And she's just sitting there and she's looking sad in the water. So it's almost foreshadowed that like, hey, she's feeling pretty unneeded. And I don't know, it is nice, and it feels like it's a bit more than what we got from Frontier when the kids felt unneeded.
Oh, for sure. But they did walk all that stuff back when they with her big blushing stuff at the end when the princess wants to come with them. She shouldn't have an issue at that point. I
know, but I feel like Basemon's just annoying in general. Like no one, not even Taiki wants her there. Like no one likes her.
It's true. I like her. She's adorable.
I guess, but she's kind of like, I don't know. There's just something about her that just like, I don't know.
You know what it is? It's that she doesn't look like a Digimon. That's what it is.
Probably.
That's what you don't like.
I mean, yeah, she just looks like a fairy, right?
Well, that's exactly what that is.
Yeah, and more so than Renamon, like
just like all Digimon.
I guess
Renamon more than anyone.
It's like the Gardevoir of the Digimon world.
That's exactly what it is.
Meanwhile, Zenjiro is wearing Taiki's goggles and is calling himself a proxy general.
I'm
And
gonna be honest with you.
yeah.
I didn't notice him wearing Taiki's goggles until he gave them back. At which point it all crashed in about like how kind of clever it was that they did it that way.
And I guess, like, slight spoilers for Chapter 5, so skip ahead like 30 seconds. Yamato has the goggles as a sign of a leader, but it's sort of...
That doesn't count.
I mean, it's sort of in the same way, right? Like, oh...
No, it's really not.
I'm the proxy leader now. But
no, it's not cool, because Zenjiro has never had, like, problems with Taiki, so it's not weird and insulting when he does it.
Or, yeah, especially because in Adventure, Yamato was always just like, hey, why are you the leader? Why can't I be the leader? So I guess
Pretty much.
There's that. And then I would really like to compare this scene, and, well, the scene later on, with what happens when Taichi comes back in Chapter 6. Like... Well, what is that transfer going to be like? Is it going to be like, oh, is it going to be the exact same? Is it going to be better? Is it going to be worse? I think it might be worse, and that's really sad.
It's probably going to be worse because Matt's a jerk.
Yeah.
That's a huge jerk.
And, like, I'm warming to Zenjiro. I don't feel like I liked him so much when I first watched it, but, like, I'm warming to him.
Do you know why? Because in this episode he did stuff. You notice how he was a reasonably competent commander and also a mechanic.
Yeah, he's useful, and I think I've drawn parallels between him and JP before, but I feel like he's just a better, skinnier JP.
I guess.
And I guess you can also say Akari is a bit like Azumi, with she's feeling unneeded, but also from this episode, she's better than Azumi. I hope.
Ideally.
Yeah, like she has some moments in this episode, and that's really good to see. So
I really thought she'd do more though, given the name, rather than just feel bad the entire time and then get mind controlled.
Oh, there is a cool moment, but like that I think is cool anyway. But I guess we'll get to that. So what I really like is that Nene's always watching, but she's always, like, it's explained that she's always watching because she has Monitormon, which are, like, always around everywhere, and they've got, like, monitors that are like Teletubbies.
They're not Teletubbies. Teletubbies have the television on their stomach, and they have normal faces.
Yeah, I love Monitormon.
These things are just ninjas.
Yeah.
They're an army of television ninjas. They're Naruto.
Yeah, I guess they're Naruto televisions.
Also, I think their ninja design is based on Naruto, because that show would have come out like a while before this one now.
Oh, definitely. This I think this season came out in 2010 or 2011, so yeah. This was definitely after Naruto. So we get Monitormon displaying what's happening, and his face fuzzes out, and he's like has to do repairs. And then we see some Icemon, and for some reason I was like, I thought these were called Insekimon, but apparently Icemon are champion levels who are ice, and Insekimon's a meteor, and he's the perfect level, so go figure, I guess.
That's really confusing.
Did you know
that's really confusing?
They look exactly the same. I mean, maybe Insekimon are a little less white, but they look so similar. I don't know.
It's really confusing.
I felt like a bad Digimon fan for like 5 seconds. It was very insulting. I know, I'm bad. I'm not even buying any merchandise right this minute.
Unbelievable.
Nene's really excited by watching this, and I kind of love that.
How will Atmon Season 2 happen if you don't fund the entire thing?
I better make an order right this moment. Anyway, so Lilithmon's defrosting a scary Digimon, and she's losing her patience.
I never understood, and they never cover why just the fact that they defrosted it means that she controls it. Why does it work for her? She seems evil, and he has no reason to work for her.
I guess he's evil too, but also, I think we mentioned this very early on, but you do realize that, like, this is the fusion spirit evolution of Tomoki and Frontier. Like, you know, the bears?
I did not realize that.
Well, this is the fusion between Chakmon/Kumamon and Korikakumon.
That is incredibly dumb.
Yep. It does. Well, it's not a bear. It's a penguin, and it's got paddle pops. It's weird.
Penguin is the bear of the sea, which is actually not true. A seal is the bear of the sea.
I think the polar bear is the bear of the ice.
Yeah, but I didn't say the ice.
True. We get a shot of Zenjiro tinkering with machinery, which is, I think, pretty cool, and he's working.
When did he learn to do that? He's a sword fighter. That's all he knows how to do, as far as we're aware.
Well, it almost makes more sense in the dub, because he's got this gaming character that they've given him.
I never really thought of it that way, but it's an interesting take.
But he literally says, "Oh, I know all about machines because I play lots of video games," and like, I guess like you could argue that like, oh, he does repairs on his consoles, or he's built his own PC. So
no. Okay, if he built his own PC, that'd be an interesting take on it. Still would make sense, but at least it would be a vague justification. But when he says, like, I play games, like, I don't see that as to meaning that he can build things. I play games. I can't build stuff.
I know, but it's at least giving him a reason to have this knowledge. Otherwise, you're just like, okay, I thought he was a sword fighter, now he's a mechanic?
Just say words that sound like he has a reason. That's true.
Yeah, like, they sort of give him reason, and he explains that that's why. So thanks, Dub, for helping, I guess, sort of.
For trying slightly.
Akari's pretty mad, and Ballistamon says she's just jealous of Bastamon and Taiki, and then Akari wonders how everyone is doing at home, and her phone starts fuzzing, and she hears her mother's voice, and she walks off, and it turns out to be Lilithmon trying to seduce her. I would like to point out that, as always, my favourite thing in the dub is whenever they point out things that are weird, because in the dub, Angie points out that it's weird that there's a mirror here, like by itself in a room.
It is weird that it's in the center of the room, but Lilithmon didn't put that there. That just is a weird thing about the place.
Yeah, and Angie in the dub just points it out, and I love that. Like, I know, it's always my favourite thing when that happens, because that's what I would want to do if I did the dub. I'd be like, well, I'm going to explain everything I can, and anything that's a bit weird, I'm going to have the characters point out how weird it is, because it almost makes it less weird. So Shoutmon basically saves her and breaks the mirror, and Akari believes that it's a portal to go back to the real world, and she says that she hates the digital world.
When he breaks it, he's like, oh no, 7 years bad luck. Ah, well, it's too late now. Who taught him about that?
There's always that weird thing, right? Like, how do Digimon know about these human things?
And yet they don't know what parents are.
Yeah, well, in Adventure they don't know what parents are.
Well, yeah.
That was still, like, a really cute moment in Adventure, though.
Definitely.
Akari sees a broken piece from the mirror, and Lilithmon talks through it and says that she can go home if she gets the code crown. And we've got Balmon watching Lilithmon, and he's all just like, oh, Lilithmon, oh, you. I like Balmon, he's my best friend. Akari goes to Basemon, she says some magic words, and the necklace around her neck glows. And the weird thing is, in the dub, she seems completely lucid, and no magic words are said. In the original, she seems to be completely under the spell, but in the dub, I don't know why they gave her some words.
Because the thing before is, like, it sounded like she was saying, like, a code phrase to get the code crown, or something along those lines, and there's no way for her to have known that. So at the very least, her, like, explaining herself and what she's doing makes more sense. I'm not saying it's perfect, it's not, but at least it makes... I feel like it made the scene flow a little bit better.
I preferred when she seemed like she was under a spell and when she wasn't, like...
I still think she was with the eyes.
I know, but, like, in the dub it just seems like she's upset and... because she's talking completely normally. But in the original she's just, like, she's in a trance and she's using these magic words because Lilithmon has put them in her. Like, she's not herself. Like, basically Lilithmon may or may not be speaking through her at this point. Like, I don't know, she's under a spell.
Yeah, I never got the feeling of that because it wouldn't make sense, because she is clearly convinced by the spell that her mom wants this code crown. That's why she's doing it. So it can't be direct control over her, because otherwise that opening bit that we saw with the mirror piece would have been necessary.
Also, I guess you could just say she's full of despair, and it's kind of Danganronpa-like.
You mean Zetsubo?
Zetsubo. Shoutmon's asleep, and we get the best scene ever when Cutemon starts throwing really huge rocks at him.
Oh, it's so cute, just dumping boulders on his head.
And the dub adds in a flash of light to hide each impact.
Well, obviously, why wouldn't you?
Then they see Akari walking off, and she's giving Lilithmon the code crown, and Darulymon knows of Lilithmon's ability. And in the dub, everything seems to be explained a bit more, like I think it's over-explained at some point, like they just add more words to a very similar explanation. And Shoutmon wonders if it's his fault.
I mean, like, actually, I thought this would be really interesting. I thought this would be a really interesting moment if this would be a cool character bit where he feels really responsible for what's happened here. I don't think it'll ever come back, unfortunately. I don't get the sense that they're ever going to call back to this moment as anything special in his character at all, which is unfortunate. I don't have that much faith in this show.
Then we get to see Daipenmon, which I already explained is Tomoki's hybrid spirit evolution. Taiki wakes up, and he mentions he mentioned he's dreaming of Akari, and then he notices that Bastamon was looking out for him, but he says, oh, it's different if it's not Akari. In the dub, he just says he has to see if Angie and Jeremy are okay.
This is the exact scene from the, like... is it Frontier? The Tamers movie, when he wakes up to save... God, I forget everyone's names. Oh boy.
Rookie?
No. Wait, no, it wasn't. Not Tamers. Savers movie.
Oh, Savers movie, right.
Yeah, when all the humans are in the
tubes.
Yeah, the cocoons, that's what I'm trying to say. And he wakes up to save them.
I kind of wish that he was asleep for a bit longer, but just because, like, I would like more development for Jeremy and Akari. Taiki,
yeah, I can see that.
Taiki sees Akari being taken, and everyone else besides Zenjiro, who the Nightmon and then Nightmon protected them, so everyone else is frozen. And he grabs a spear from Nightmon, which again I really like that they're actually using this character trait of Zenjiro being a swordsman.
Yeah, that's why you use a spear.
Oh, it's the same thing. They're on a pole.
That's okay. A sword is not on a pole. That is not true. That's the opposite of true.
Well, actually, he said that he's done kendo as well, which is also not a sword. It's a stick.
Well, I mean, it's meant to be a sword.
Yeah.
It is an analogy for a sword.
It's a bamboo stick. It's for poking.
Yeah. It's for the poking. Also, I don't see why being behind the thing would have stopped him from being cold, because the cold is still going to get you if you're behind stuff.
Yeah, but it won't, like, encase him in ice.
Like, it should, because that's how cold works.
Mm.
And also, I just want it noted
sorry.
now how insanely powerful Dipenmon is.
Oh,
and then I want to compare it to later after it fuses.
Oh, I think we should know that any of the fusions are worse. Like, of the bad guys, have you noticed that they get, like, they almost get, like, I don't know, debuffed?
Why are they so trash after they fuse?
I think they just wanted to use the mechanic, but, like, didn't, like, whenever they do it, it's also, like, just directly before they die. So it always makes them look actually weaker. Also, it makes Lilithmon weaker. So then we get a pretty nice scene where Zenjiro is saying how he blames himself, but Taiki says it's everyone's fault, not just his, and he says that Zenjiro worked really hard. In the dub, Mikey says they're a team. Also, there's a weird line about how Jeremy apparently loves the smell of ice in the morning.
That is really weird that they're referencing Apocalypse Now.
I guess it's for
I
the
assume
parents.
that's all they're doing?
Yeah. But also,
we made a reference. That's clever, right?
Ice doesn't smell. I get it's a
water
reference.
doesn't smell.
Yeah. Akari won't let go of the code crown, and Lilithmon says she's going to chop off her hands, and Ice Devimon says that it's cruel, and also Ice Devimon is in the icy pole, and Dipenmon is licking the icy pole.
Let's take a step back, alright?
Yep.
The fact that Akari isn't letting go shouldn't matter. She's a 12-year-old girl. You can take it out of her hands.
Yeah, I think we learned in this episode that Akari is insanely strong for a 12-year-old.
Because I was almost like, okay, is that what they're trying to get at? That Lilithmon is, like, weak, and that's why she does all her mind control stuff? But we learn in the next episode that she can stab through Balmon's... No, 2 episodes from now, she can stab through Balmon's stomach just fine.
I think that would have been too horrifying for the children watching, like, actual
She said she's
going
to cut off her arms!
Yeah, but she doesn't.
But what I'm saying is that, like, obviously she's good enough to open up Balmon's stomach. Why isn't she good enough to open up this little girl's hands?
True.
And then later on, she's holding the thing, and it's just floating above her hands. Like, she's not even touching anymore. And Lilithmon's just kind of looking at it.
Well, Lilithmon's pretty stupid.
Lilithmon's an idiot.
She is pretty, like, in general, like, I think she's just stupid.
Lilithmon could have teleported away at any time, and chose not to.
Zenjiro throws a spear. In the dub, Laylamon calls Jeremy and Mikey boy band rejects.
Why?
And I think in another episode there's another reference to boy bands. And I think it's in The Warriors of Light, and Mikey says, is that a boy band? Lots of boy band rejects. Akari is sad because nobody needs her in the digital world. In the dub, she says she doesn't have a place in the digital world and she's not needed. Then Taiki says she's holding everyone up. In the dub, and this is really annoying, he says, well, I need your sandwiches. Because she's a woman.
Yeah, that was really awful.
That was awful. Like, instead of saying, no, you're holding everyone up, you keep me going, you keep us going, you make sure everyone's okay, you're important to us, he's just saying, oh, I like your sandwiches. Like,
Gotta get them sandwiches.
Was it ever shown that she makes sandwiches? Like, is this a
Literally
thing?
Never. They've never made food.
Then
They've
why?
eaten food.
Also, it's Digimon. Haven't we learned from Digimon that none of the women in any Digimon anime can cook?
Mimi can? What are you talking about?
Pardon?
Mimi can. She
No,
has
she
a television
can't.
show and everything.
Yeah, it's
She has
bad.
No, she has a television show, everything. She can cook.
Yeah, but in the
She'll
CD
cook all day.
in the CD drama, she's making things like whipped cream on toast with jelly beans and pizza.
Yeah, well, she can cook.
Well,
What a boss.
She can cook by the definition of she sure did grab some things from the cupboard, put them together, and nod and said, "Okay, that's food."
Yes, she did. Aren't you proud?
I love her. She's still best girl. She can't
No,
cook,
she's second
but she's
best.
best girl. Oh, and then Eri came along.
Can Eri cook? I'm sure she did once.
It was bad.
Was it?
She made burnt takoyaki. And then I think she made something that was okay.
Good. I'm glad.
But, like, she had to learn. Like, it was a thing she had to study. No, women in Digimon can't cook, and I kind of love that. It's like is it a subversion of the trope of women cooking?
No, it's a reference to it and showing that they're not valuable as a result. It's actually not good.
No,
That's my interpretation of it.
No, I like it. It's saying, hey, this gender role's wrong. Women don't have to be a good cook.
I mean, I guess. It's not. What it's saying is they're implicitly not a good cook, but it's not telling you anything about how that should be interpreted.
No, there is a woman who's good at cooking in the Digimon universe.
Yeah.
Takado's mum, she made Gilmon bread.
That's true, that was pretty good.
That was so good. I want Gilmon bread. I would totally make that, and you know it.
I do.
Akari attacks Lilithmon, and Lilithmon starts bleeding, and of course, the blood's cut in the dub, which makes it seem less cool, obviously.
Yeah.
Then
What are you going to do?
Lilithmon then fuses with Dipenmon, and, as you mentioned, becomes weaker. In the dub, because you can't see anyone's mouth, Jeremy says he hopes it's just a giant snow cone maker, and then when Dipenmon basically starts vomiting snow, he asks why he wished for that.
Let's be honest though, that scene's really funny.
It is. Like, it's just so dumb looking too. He's just like, rah. To be fair, Dipenmon is ridiculous looking. I love him.
He looks really stupid.
Yeah, well, I love him. Nightmon shows up to rescue them. I guess he thawed in the process. And Taiki wants Digicross, and Akari's worried about him, but says that they'll do it together. In the dub, we get the line, it's fuse or lose, which is really annoying.
That's garbage.
And then we get everyone holding onto the crossloader, and I want to point out, so does Cutemon. Like, he puts his little finger up and he goes, Q!
I love him.
I will die for Cutemon.
That's a bit much, but fair enough.
I just quickly want to talk about the music in this scene. I don't like the dub music as much as the original. The original's really dramatic, and it's full of emotion, and the dub music's just so generic. Like, the dub music in general in this season is pretty generic, and it makes the anime more generic than it already is, which is pretty generic. So everything is digicrossed, including Nightmon, and we get cross 4K, which is times 4K, which just sounds like a resolution.
No, because it's in the Japanese, it's cross for Naito.
Yeah.
Right? So immediately you go, okay, the K is just shortening for us, but we know exactly what it means. In the English, they're going further again, being like, it's times 4K. What does that even mean?
It's a resolution, I told you.
No, but it's times it.
I know, I just still don't like how they're saying times and not cross.
Does that mean he's times 4,000?
You see, that's the implication, right?
But is he 1,000 times stronger than times 4?
It's going to be really awkward if we get any other levels of cross that if it was times 4,000, would make them weaker, technically, I guess.
And boy, will there ever be.
Nene says the power of Crossheart is too hot for her. In the dub, she says that the power of Crossheart will not be enough to save them. Nightmon wants to join, and so does Bastemon, and Taiki says he now has doubts for the future. In the dub, Mikey's completely okay with this, and says, the more the merrier, and Angie says that merry isn't the right choice of words. And I don't know why they had to do this. Like,
I really feel like there's a joke about marry in there, like a pun, but I can't quite figure it out.
I didn't get that it was a pun. But
okay, it might not be.
So in the original, like, Taiki is annoyed by Bastemon, right?
To an extent, I think he seems more okay with it than Akari is. I keep getting stuck with her name. I do know it's Angie now, and now I'm stuck in the middle of it.
Kiriha then is watching over because apparently that's just what they do now, and he says, as expected, Crossheart won again, and I say this every week, or well, every fortnight, but like, I love how Kiriha is just like, he's not like saying, oh, he's bad. He's not like discrediting him. He's like, oh yeah, as expected, Crossheart won. Cool. I love it. Nene wants to join Kiriha, and then he says, oh, sorry, I don't team with the weak. And then she reloads the best Digimon ever, which is Sparrowmon, my best friend.
A fighter jet?
Yes, she's the best. I love her. I will die for her. I have her on my desk. She's my best friend. And Nene has a black crossloader.
What's up with that? Everyone acts like this is a really big deal, and I can't quite figure out why, because from their perspective, the colors don't mean anything, right? But everyone's like, oh, a black one.
I don't know. I like that it seemed dramatic, and maybe we'll find out later on about why it is, but maybe we won't. Maybe it's just a color.
Well, it definitely make it seem dramatic. It's just for no particular reason that I can see.
I just want to point out when we get the data lab, which is now in the dub, we get the whole waiting, loading, because they cut out some violence with the rock.
Oh, the rock bit is so fun, though.
Yeah, but they don't cut out the whole scene. They just, like, censor it.
Really like when they bonk him on the head with the rock. And then you see Cubone standing there, like, holding it, looking real angry. Like, I'm gonna get you.
And he's struggling a little bit, but, like, he's picking up something that's his size. Like, that man's got some muscles.
It's pretty impressive.
What do you think of this episode as someone who is new to Digimon?
This was pretty good. I liked all of Angie's, like, her little arc and everything that was going on with her. I appreciated it. I guess it definitely got ruined a bit in the English when they started sort of undermining it or just telling you everything there is to know about Angie's character right from the beginning, so that you never had to work it out. I thought that was well done. I thought like her anxieties were reasonable. I thought the solution to it was a bit strange, and I think that Dipenmon was a hilarious monster, and then they just ruined it by just, after fusing him and he's weak as garbage. He threw the same attack, and rather than freezing everyone within 2 kilometers, he couldn't even freeze a Nightmon.
Okay, I guess I see what you mean. I still like Dipenmon though. What rating?
You know what? I think maybe it pushes past the 6 into maybe a 7, so I might have been slightly undershooting it in my estimate.
I gave it an 8. I really liked this episode. Because we had Taiki out of action, we had the other characters be characters, they're more than just like, oh, they're there, I guess, especially Akari.
I honestly think Jeremy got way more in this episode than she did.
Oh yeah, well, Jeremy did get stuff, and especially with that scene where he's saying, hey, I'm sorry I wasn't a very good leader, and Taiki, being a great leader, said, you did fine. You kept everyone together while, I was out. I really appreciate that, and it's not your fault that this happened. It's everyone's fault. We'll share the blame because we're a team. I'm just like, wow, he is so good.
He's
what a
pretty
good boy. People complain about Taiki being, a Gary Stu, but, to be fair, he's a protagonist. He's you're meant to be. But, I don't know. I think he's fine. I think he's a good leader. He's better than Daisuke. I'm sorry.
Everyone's better than Daisuke. What do you mean? Davis is trash, and everyone should know that.
Character in Young Hunters, you might actually prefer Daisuke to? Maybe.
Wow.
Because
that is the strongest indictment of a series I've ever heard.
The fandom calls him Daisuke 2.0.
I want to die?
And a lot of people
want to die.
A lot of people says that there are good episodes about the time where this character makes you want to pull your hair out.
Want to die.
Yeah, I think he's fine. I guess time will tell, because I used to like Daisuke, and now after this I'm just like, Daisuke has some problems.
He has so many problems. I'm glad that he's dead.
I mean, he's just I can't tell if it's because it's him being badly written, or if it's just
he's
the
badly
character.
Written.
It's just the character being bad.
It's both. He's badly written and he's a bad character. You can be both.
Ken, on the other hand, is a good boy.
Ken is a good boy.
He's a good boy. And Miyako is good too. I love her. Sort of. I wish she got more character development. She deserves more. So, how did this episode compare to predictions of Obnoxious Synopsis?
Well, let's find out when I open my own stuff.
You said that your estimation was probably better. I think I would prefer if Angie took over. That'd be really cool.
So I thought that was happening, and I thought Ice Digimon died last time, so I guess not. And that he would be relevant at all, alternatively, and it wasn't. So, oops. And then I thought the princess would give them a code crown, but no, it's just that she found it, Angie found it and stole it. So yeah, I was pretty wrong. Obviously, the idea of them defending the castle while he's knocked out was there, but that's a gimme. Can't really claim any credit on that one.
What was the major difference that you noticed?
God, did I notice? Oh no, I think that they give away Angie's whole thing right at the beginning.
Yeah, that's mine too. I feel like it almost makes the episode worse, because at the start it was like, oh, Angie's just, Akari's just being jealous, and she's just like, oh, I want to look after Taiki. I'm always the one who's taking care of him. But it turns out that she actually has a legitimate reason, and it's been shown in earlier episodes. I don't know, I like it.
Yeah.
Any other differences? Because I didn't grab
not many.
I can't just say, oh yeah, every time they edit out violence, because that happens in every season of Digimon, where they'll add in, animations or flashes of light whenever there's some violence happening.
That was going to be mine in episode 3, pretty much.
I
mean, the third episode we're covering today.
Yeah, no, I gotcha. Episode 12 starts off with Digimon explaining the code crowns once they're in between zones, and he says how the world used to be together. In the dub, he says it reminds him of a bad hair day, how everything's split.
Well, this is a very interesting recontextualization of the digital world, where I really thought that the teleporting around was just going somewhere else, but it turned out that there were different. They're like Atmon with the different internet sites, and they're basically different planets, and so the Digimon can't travel between them, except that obviously the bad guys can.
Yes, so how do you think Digimon are able to transfer between zones?
I mean, I'd say that you need code crowns to do it. That'd make a lot of sense.
No, I mean, if they physically can't, they have to be in a crossloader. How would you think that they would travel?
That's a seriously good question. The only answer I could think of that would make rational sense is that there is a human bad guy with a crossloader behind Bagramon. Or Bagra. Wait, no, Bagramon has been named as Bagramon in the show. Yeah, pretty much what I just said. That's the only one I can imagine.
So yeah, we find out that Digimon can't appear in the tunnel between zones, and then they're going to go to the sand zone because they're going to go treasure hunting, and then, of course, because we are watching Digimon, we get the kids walking through a desert. Has this happened in every season now?
Yes. I'm pretty sure 100% of seasons have the kids walking through a desert.
And here we have it. We got it in Atmon, right?
I do not know the answer to that question.
We got a beach. I remember that.
That's got sand.
Oh, no, we had, the Inconvenienced Man. He got lost in Egypt.
Yeah, that doesn't count. That's not the kids trudging through a desert.
I can't remember if he misread his GPS or if it was the public transport app and he ended up in Egypt from Japan.
It was a failure of his travel plans.
Yeah, it was something like that. Yeah, that's a desert.
No, you're right. No, that was the GPS. That was in episode 2.
I love Atmon so much.
It's way better than this.
When are we getting a dub? I want it now.
So watch the whole thing again?
I want an official release. I mean, I bought the DVDs. Like, I have the DVDs, but they're in Japanese, and my Japanese listening ability is pretty bad. But I try. I really like this next part where they see an oasis, but they're not sure if it's a mirage, so they send Shoutmon. Like, they just say, "Hey, Shoutmon, is that an oasis?" And he just runs forward, and it's like they're sending him to his death. In the dub, it's less so. Like, it's more implied that Shoutmon saw the mirage, or not the mirage, but the oasis. And in the original,
the mirage.
Yeah, in the original, it's just like they say, "Hey, Shoutmon, is that an oasis?" Like, wow, these kids are just like, he's pretty annoying. We don't have to rely on our partner Digimon anymore. We have like 50. It's fine. Then we meet my new favorite Digimon, Blastmon.
What? Why is it your favorite?
We find out in this episode why he's my favorite. Well, besides Sparrowmon. Sparrowmon's my favorite, but this one's my favorite bad guy, I guess. And I don't remember liking him this much when I first watched it. Oh, because
he's a wrestler, yeah.
Oh, for many reasons. He's also funny. He reminds me of Arbamon because of how much I love him.
Can I cover now? Because there's a great bit, and I can't remember the context anymore. I think he's like fighting somebody.
Is it the "Are you hugging me? Is it because you love me?"
No, it's the next episode, and he's like panting because he's like tired from fighting. He goes, Dramoy.
I love him. He's my best friend.
He gets really in there. Like, everything he says is really intense.
And he also like gives the honorific of Chan to those who are higher and those who are lower than him. I love him. So he's eating diamonds so he can shine. And I would like to point out,
of diamonds.
Basically, I would like to point out that it seems that maybe that he was in the shadows not because the show was being mysterious, but because he hadn't eaten diamonds. Like, I just thought of that just then. But what if? Like, it's probably not it. They probably just wanted to leave him as a reveal, but they forgot to do a reveal, and they just sort of made him show up without shadows one day. But
that's how I feel.
I just would like to believe that he just hadn't had enough diamonds, and like that's the reason we can see him now. Or what they should have added was a scene where he's just in the shadows and he eats it. He just takes this potato chip and he eats it, and all of a sudden, like, he erupts into light, and he's like, that's better. That would be so great. Like,
take a diamond and eat it.
But, like, real talk, like, how Atmon would that be, though? I feel like if that scene was in Atmon, you'd be like, oh yeah, that's fair. I don't know. It seems Atmon-like. I would like to point out that the Vilemon call the fusion loader the Red Fusion Lobster. Also, I forgot to mention that the kids got caught in a trap that's quicksand by Scorpiomon, and then Taiki tells Drillumon to use his drill. Forgot to mention that. I got distracted with Blastmon. My apologies.
You forgot to mention it because it didn't matter.
Yeah, and also Blastmon's more important. Taiki and the others show up and land on Blastmon, and he's mad that he got sand on him, and Blastmon calls Scorpiomon Scorpio-chan, and also we find out that he's more bothered by the sand in his body rather than pursuing the children. And also, again, we get Zendro wanting to tinker with machinery, and he grabs a gem and he's like, I'm going to use this on Ballistamon later. Not sure how, not sure where he's going to stick it, but he grabbed one, and it's a really big pointy gem.
Stab him.
I appear to have started to write something that happens in the dub, but I just wrote Shoutmon because I was then distracted by Revolmon showing up in the dub. And a really important question. Why did they make him blue in the dub?
I honestly didn't realize the color change. It's just his voice sounds weird.
Oh, no, it is drastic. Like, this is so important. I'm actually going to send you a screenshot that I took because it is just like, It is not just a slight change. No. It is aggressive.
If you insist.
Like, it is not just like a minor color change. It is like a straight up different, like, it's like, what? Because I guess they're trying to make him like less like a gun. but they just made him blue or purple.
No, increase the gun quotient.
Like,
more gun.
it's really distracting. And also they made his, the bullet belt around his belt, that's also like this bluey purple, and I need to know why.
Right, let's see. Oh, yeah.
Like,
Make it look like a toy.
I guess, it's aggressive. Like, we've seen Revolmon before, he's Deputymon, he's been in 02, but he hasn't been purple. You've seen him before, not this way. But why? I don't know. It's one of life's great mysteries, why the dubbers do what they do. It's not quite, making, like, Citramon, but, sure is a blue Deputymon. Revolmon wants help with treasure hunting, and he says, hey, I helped you out, so now you have to help me. In the dub, there's light when Deputymon hits Shoutmon. Digimon farts to open the door, and it doesn't work, and I'm glad.
But why would it work?
Well, Akari uses her sex appeal, and yes, the 12-year-old has sex appeal, apparently, and it works. Like, in the original, she actually says, I guess I'll just have to use my sex appeal.
I mean, I guess it's a door, and it likes things that are flat.
Oh, that's bad.
That's the best joke I got. That's the best I can do.
In the dub, it's just changed to a more pleasant approach. So she just asks nicely. I really wish they threw in an open sesame joke here or something, because that's what Adventure 02 did when they had a door, or a gate that they wanted to open. Revolmon drops his bullets, totally on purpose. Big Marmimon does the whole boulder thing, which I believe you predicted in Obnoxious Synopsis.
I did, I got it exactly, and then I screwed up everything around it.
Well, you got this part right at least, so you can check that off your list.
Hell yes, I did.
Revolmon knew, and he's like, well, I wonder what they'll do. And he's given that line in the dub because he doesn't have a mouth, so they give him lines. And also they made him blue.
They can do anything they want.
Like, hey, I've got a question.
Yeah.
Actually, it's more of an answer. I think I know why they made him blue.
Why?
Because if they made him green, he would die.
I'm not gonna laugh. I hope you know that in advance.
You should. Taiki tells Shoutmon to attack the wall, and he does. And then we're walking along a bridge, and we find out that Digimemories are back to normal, because apparently different zones can brighten them up.
Yeah,
like, again.
The question... So that's interesting that we get the rule of how the Digimemories work, to an extent. That's cool. Follow-up question. He's used them in the island zone before. If he goes back to the island zone, are they black there, but not elsewhere? Or have they refreshed because he moved at all?
I think they're refreshed, but I can't remember. Also, I would like to point out that how blind Taiki must be to only realise this now, and not in the other zones where he's used the Digimemories.
He fell asleep. And also, he always used different ones.
Yeah, but he uses, I don't know, but it's still like, he'd grab them from his pocket and he'd say, hey, this Leviamon, hey, you're back. I don't know.
Maybe.
Blastmon rushes forward and breaks the bridge, and then Taiki uses Holy Angelmon to transport the Scorpiomon away. In the dub, his attack's called Great Golden Gate now, despite it already having a name in the dub.
Yeah, but let's just ignore that, okay?
Oh wait, no. It was called Heaven's Gate in the dub for memory, and they can't have any reference of religion, apparently.
It's really important, okay?
So it turns out Revolmon's turning on the main characters, and in the original he says, don't move or I'll kill the cute growl, and then we get this really, like, protective growl from Darulumon.
This whole bit doesn't make sense, though, like, even when first watching it, because you're like, but they were already helping him.
Yeah.
They were already on board for this exact plan.
Well, we find out it's because, he's testing them.
Yeah, I know. Like, I'm aware of that. And I guess the characters are really slow about figuring it out.
In the dub, there's no mention of hurting Angie or any mention of Angie. He's just threatening them. Here's a gun. A blue gun.
Did you know that I am a gun?
We then see Pheromon, who gives me, really, visceral flashbacks to Digimon World 2003, because I feel like he was a really hard boss.
But he wasn't, because that's not Pheromon. Pheromon's a ghost.
No, but I feel like he also looked different in Digimon World 2003.
Because Pheromon's a ghost.
Pheromon? No, Pheromon hits things with her butt.
I screwed it up.
Remember, I did say I'll kill the cute growl before, so it's fine. Then we see what Nene and Kiriha are up to. We see Sparrowmon. It's great. I love Sparrowmon. She's my best friend. I'll fight for her. Then we see my other best friend, Blastmon. And in the dub, Blastmon's surprised to see another human, even though he already knows there are other humans, because they were talking about it with the whole Dark Masters scenes. In the original, he's surprised to see the Black Fusion Loader.
I still don't know why everyone cares about this thing. How have they learned anything about it, or what to expect about Fusion Loader's colours?
Maybe we'll find out, maybe we won't.
Hope we do.
Taiki wonders how to fight, and then he remembers what Revolmon said, and Taiki works out that it's a test, which, I'm not sure how he worked it out. Like, it just said, "Oh, do you fight for the light?" He's just like, "Yes, so I will stop fighting." Okay.
Like, yeah, even though he figured it out, I mean, you already kind of attacked him, right?
Yeah, like, shouldn't he have failed because he still did the attack or evolved to attack? Like, wouldn't he have succeeded if he didn't attack in the first place?
And why is it the sort of test where if you stop fighting the guy, then, like, he'll give you the code crown? That doesn't seem right.
So yeah, it turns out Revolmon and Pheromon are friends, and he gives the code crown the Digimemories. Then we find out that Blastmon's working out that the treasure is code crown and Digimemories and not jewels, and he's really upset. In the dub, he seems more upset that he doesn't have the code crown, and he seems to want the code crown. And I like that. Like, in the original, he's just like, oh, don't really want the code crown.
I like that one better because that's more true to his character.
Yeah, like, I feel like the dub didn't want him to have all this character. We find out that Kiriha has a Cyberdramon, which looks very different from the Cyberdramon that we know from Tamers. That's the one that that Rio
I thought it
has.
looked really weird. I like it's like, oh, that sounds really familiar. It doesn't look like what I would expect it to look like, but maybe I don't remember.
Yeah, he's just like Cyberdramon, but like not actually cyber. He's more like tentacly. Like he's like if Cyberdramon like got stuck in a squid. So Cyberdramon grabs onto Blastmon, and we have the best line ever. Like, I feel, "You're hugging me? Does that mean that you love me?"
Is that the best line, really?
In the dub, it's ruined. It's, "I should be the crusher, not the crushee." And Balmon's watching, because it's... what I've noticed is that episodes either end with Balmon watching, or with Nene watching.
Yeah, somebody's got to be watching.
Basically. And then the data lab is Monitormon, and Monitormon says, "Any compliments on my acting job this episode?" I don't actually remember Monitormon being much in this episode, but okay.
What, wasn't Monitormon up in one of the corners, like behind one of the pillars looking at them?
Yeah, but Monitormon's been in every episode, and I feel like in the previous episode, he was more of a character in the last episode.
Yeah, so? What do you think about his acting, though?
I don't know. Why didn't he say this in the last
Tell
episode?
him, he's a friend.
I mean, this was obviously just to fill time because they needed to pad out the animation in the data lab.
I mean, obviously, yeah, but also he's a friend, and why aren't you complimenting his acting work?
Oh, good point. Monitormon, I loved your acting career, and I hope that it has taken flight in the 7 years since it's aired.
There you go.
He's really good because he's like a ninja. He can be anyone.
God, that is a strong power.
Like, what if he's just the new Spider-Man?
What?
I don't know. Recent actor? Could be Monitormon.
I guess they have changed a lot of actors for Spider-Man.
Yeah. Well, I meant the new one. The one who's English. Mm-hmm.
I don't know what you mean.
The one in Spider-Man that just came out. He's the actor's English.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Then the episode carries on to episode 13, and we still get Blastmon fighting, and Darullamon noticed that Sparrowmon can fight one-on-one with Blastmon, and he comments about how incredible that is, because Sparrowmon's the best Digimon of all time, and could probably even win against Imperialdramon, the strongest one.
Sparrowmon's garbage. It's a weird, crappy plane.
Fight me!
I will. I'll win.
Okay, no, I'll win, because I'll have Sparrowmon on my side.
Ding dong, you are wrong.
I have the power of anime, Sparrowmon, and God on my side.
Wow, that is a lot of power.
I'd also dual-wield katanas.
You can't fight katanas.
I'm both your Anglemon and your Devimon.
That's Japanese for sword.
Jeez. It's also, I'm also the Kaiser, which is Japanese for Emperor.
Okay.
I still hate my 12-year-old self.
It's fantastic.
It's okay.
It's not okay.
Balmon's shooting at Taiki, and then we see a statue that's revealed, and Balmon looks distracted by it. And then he tells Taiki to get his crossloader, and Taiki makes cross 4. In the dub, I just noticed that Reapmon talks a lot more because he has no mouth.
And he must scream.
No, he has no mouth, and he must have added dialogue, apparently.
I have no mouth, and I must meme.
Meme. Apparently I have no mouth.
Meme.
Meme.
It's a really sad noise.
Meme. You're right. I want to get a tramp stamp that says meme.
Wow, okay.
Taiki notices that Balmon looks more like a majestic warrior and not a reaper. I like this. I do like this. And in the dub, he's just pointing out that even though he's a bad guy, he likes to play fair. Like, he fights by the rules. Which, I don't know, is, I guess, also true, but I feel like the original has more meaning to it. I don't know. Also, I noticed that Blastmon sounds like a fighting game character whenever he attacks. Like,
what do you mean by that?
I don't know. I think he sounds like Blanca.
He goes, rah!
He's like, rah, rah, rah.
That is not what Blanca sounds like.
I don't know, he looks like Blanca, but Blanca's green and not made out of rocks.
Oh, because you're doing...
Yeah.
Can't do it. It makes so much noise.
Yeah. Taiki falls off a cliff, and his walkie-talkie doesn't work, which, I know it's been 10 episodes, but I'm not sure if you remembered, but he got the walkie-talkie like 10 episodes ago that's never been relevant.
I have no memory. Oh, yeah, they did get that.
Yeah, it's only been relevant when Zenjiro was stuck up a tree.
Shit.
Taiki's,
oh, wait.
Yep.
I can't swear on the podcast.
You only said the S word. It's fine.
Okay, great. Fantastic.
It's mainly the F and C bombs that I edit.
Alright, I'm glad to know.
But you can say poo-poop. It's fine. You can say poo-poop.
I'm not sure I'm going to say that.
Taiki sees a statue and says it looks very noble. In the dub, he says that she looks like a queen. It starts glowing and so does he. And it's the light of the warrior. And in the dub, Mikey narrates it because we don't get a shot of his mouth, so they add in more words. Balmon bows and says that he has become a warrior of the light. In the dub, Mikey asks if the Warriors of Light are a boy band, because why not?
Thanks, Taiki. Good job.
Balmon then tells him to follow him. Then we get a pretty cool scene, again, of my best friend Blastmon. He's leaving mid-battle because he got dirty and he doesn't care anymore. In the dub, they make him irritated that the Vilemon aren't fighting as much, instead of just being irritated that he's dirty. I don't know. I like this character trait that the original has. Kirihara and Nene realize that Blastmon has left, so they leave too. Then we have Balmon walking Taiki through the ruins, and meanwhile, Ebimon attacks Crossheart and knocks out the Digimon. And in the dub, the impact of the needle is cut.
Because why wouldn't it be, right?
Yeah. And it's pretty intensely, I don't know, I don't like it. It's scary. Don't like needles.
I know.
Taiki keeps talking to Balmon about the ruins, and Balmon saves him from a Kudukamon. Then Balmon says the place is called Sandira. In the dub, it's called Silicea, or Silicalia. I can't remember what it was called. It was something, but it wasn't Sandaria.
Yeah, well, it was Sandaria and... Oh, God, I have it. Wait.
I think it's Silcilia.
Silicalia, because it's silica, like sand.
Yeah, but Sandira, why did they change that?
Because it's too obvious, I guess?
Maybe. Taiki tells him not to clear the path because a lot may break down and he doesn't want to cave in, so he uses the Gilmon Digimemory, and I love my Gilmon, he's my best friend. Then we get a flashback, and it's when Balmon says that this is where all the warriors died, and he says it's because of him, and young Balmon has a different voice, and he looks younger, and I kind of like this. This is almost showing that Digimon age as well as evolve, because he is definitely a younger looking person. Right?
It looks like he's actually evolved. But, the primary reason is that, A, his arms are different.
Uh-huh.
And B, to me anyway, when his cloak is closed in all the flashbacks, and it's all open in the future.
Yeah.
So it kind of looks like he's different.
No, it is still Balmon, because he gets called Balmon, though.
That is weird.
But it could be a Balmon champion level and then a Balmon perfect level, but there's not really levels in this one. I'm just guessing that he's perfect level. He just looks perfect level. Also, I think he evolves from Wizamon. In a card game, maybe, but I might be wrong. In somewhere, I don't know. I think in the Pendulum, I think he's in. I can't quite remember. Anyway, Balmon says he's with the Bugger army because he's looking for whoever set the trap. In the dub, he straight up reveals that it was a curse, not a trap. And Balmon says that it's probably a sign that he's not meant to kill Taiki because the goddess chose him. Then we find out the Team Crossheart all have a seal on their heads, and Balmon references the same seal that he saw back then. Taiki says he can't attack or give up on his friends, and Balmon says that he has no choice, he has to kill or be killed. Lilithmon is laughing, and then Balmon remembers Angemon having the seal, and then how he killed Angemon. Balmon shoots at Ebimon, causing the spell to end, so we find out that Lilithmon had control over Ebimon and used Ebimon to basically bring down the Warriors of Light. Balmon gets stabbed by Lilithmon, and Taiki tells Shoutmon to save Balmon. Also, I just want to point out that in the dub, they removed the attack that Lilithmon has. So it's more
I totally
surprising.
noticed this. Instead of her stabbing him straight up in the stomach with her entire hand, she's like, "Ooh, it looks like I scratched you with my poison nails." Yeah,
it's just, I know, it looks less dramatic, and it's just I'm not sure how it was enough to basically knock him down.
Because it's poison, that's what they said.
But it's just, I don't know. It's not as intense.
No, not nearly enough.
Now I want to point out some minor character development, or rather, a character being better at what they're doing. We have Taiki calling out attacks now. Previously, we had Kirihara doing this, and with Crossheart, it was always the Digimon calling out their attacks. But now Taiki is calling out the attacks.
I can't help but feel that this is you reading too much into it.
I don't know, I like it. It's something I noticed. We find out Balmon's dying. Then we got data collection. And, really exciting fun fact, if I use these sounds on my Crossloader toy, I can actually unlock whatever Digimon that they're showing.
What do you mean these sounds?
Like, you know the dun 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 sound
I
that
don't. I
played
have no idea what you're talking about.
at the end of this episode. It went dun 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 dun, and
Are they
it said data
different
collection.
sounds?
Yeah, and you put the crossloader toy, which has a microphone next to it, and you can get that Digimon.
That's crazy.
Yeah, because it was meant to. The show ties in with the crossloader toy, and you can get the special Digimon by watching the show. So it's, I believe, a pheromone. So if I got my crossloader out and went dun 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 when it went, I could get it.
That's stupid nonsense. You should know that.
And also throughout the show, like not just in the data collection parts, they'll play that sound when a Digimon shows up for the first time. And you can put the crossloader, you're meant to be watching when you're playing with your crossloader and you play that sound. It goes, dun 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 dun, and you get it. But you can also download it off the internet if you want. But yeah, it's just fun
sound.
Fun fact, yeah. Like
It's so weird.
I believe back in the day they had it on the website, but I can't remember if it is if it's up anymore because I haven't checked since I got them all when I first got my crossloader. So
when you were a small child.
Well, I got it when I was in university. Is
the
that
smallest
small?
of children.
Small children. I love the crossloader toy. It is pretty fun. It also has DLC in the form of code crowns. So you buy the DLC. I think I've explained that before, though. It's pretty cool.
Doesn't it make sense? The Digimemories make way more sense than naturally these things.
Well, actually, the Digimemories come with the figures. So you buy the figures from the store, and they all come with Digimemories. And some that weren't even in the show. I don't know.
I can only take your word for it.
It's a fun fact. I thought anyway. What do you think of both these episodes as someone who's new to Digimon?
Let's see. What did I think? I don't know, this episode felt like it went really fast, and I just didn't care about it.
Both?
To be quite honest with you.
Both or just the last one?
This second one, this challenge of nothing,
I
don't know, I wasn't particularly impressed with this entire zone.
I didn't think it was too bad. I liked it. What
I'm
rating?
not shocked. Yeah, like a 5 was right. I think I got that one on the money.
Really?
Yes.
I gave both a 7.
Okay, I think that's an overestimation, but that's up to you.
What about compared to your predictions of Obnoxious Synopsis?
Okay, so apparently I thought that they'd head to Egypt and they'd hang on a pyramid, and they'd look for a code crown, and they'd run into classic Indiana Jones traps. That sounds about right. And then I thought I'd be annoyed if I got bored with what was going on, and I did.
I didn't get bored. I enjoyed this episode, so I'm...
That's because you like Digimon.
It still is not as good as episode 11.
I have no memory of what happened in episode 11.
Episode 11 was the one we literally just talked about, which was Ice to See You, Angie.
I have no memory of that. What are you talking about?
Oh no. You gave it a 7. That's like one of probably your highest rating of the series so far.
Sorry, it's already gone out of my brain.
Fair enough. It's not relevant anymore.
No,
Bye-bye Akari growth and Zenjiro growth.
Yeah, we don't need that.
What was the major difference between the Japanese and English version for both episodes?
Well, we already covered the first one, and in the second one, I think it was it's just a scratch, don't worry about it.
Wait, what was the one in the first one?
Wait, the fact that they ruined... Wait, hold on a second.
As in, we're covering episode 12 and 13 as one, so as
right,
episode
that's what you
12,
mean.
Yeah, the first part.
Okay, honestly, I can't remember identifying very much in the way of differences. In the first one...
I'm going to point out that Revolmon was blue.
For me, it's like that Taiki, knew the water was there and never gave any reason whatsoever for, why he knew it was there.
Oh, yeah, that too, but also Revolmon's blue.
Yeah, I guess. If you count that.
I count it. He changed colour for no reason.
No, he's fine.
He's blue.
No, it's fine, though.
But Jayathy, he's blue.
It's fine. Sometimes people are just blue, okay?
But sometimes they're green and they die.
I know, I'm aware, right? But sometimes people just blue, and that's okay. You have to let that be okay.
Also, the dub is less okay with Blastmon's character. They make him... I guess they try to make him seem tougher, but I kind of like in the original how he's tough but also cares about the way he looks. Especially the line about being a crusher, not the crushee, which is replacing, are you hugging me because you love me? I don't know, I liked the original.
Yeah, I don't know. I like Blastmon's all his Japanese voice. So the fact that it changed it all is this is way worse now. His whole shtick with his super intense voice lines is great.
Akari got some growth. What are your thoughts?
Did she though? I really think Jeremy got it.
Yeah, well, Zenjiro got it, but also Akari got some, right?
Well, no. She confronted a problem that she already had, and then a boy told her that it was okay, and she said, "Oh, I guess I'm over it then."
She got She got focus. She had some focus.
Yeah, there was focus, I guess.
Do you think she's better than Azumi?
Yes. I don't think it's difficult.
Is she better than Yoshino?
Probably not.
I hope she gets better than Yoshino. As much as I like Yoshino, I want them to be better.
Look, you definitely hope so.
Yeah.
Can't say otherwise.
So the world is getting some building, which is important. What are your thoughts on we learn about how the zones are separated?
I think that's actually really interesting because it gives you a reason why the code crowns are actually important. The idea of them teleporting is now an actual benefit.
I just want to point out that Blastmon and Sparrowmon are still my best friends. This is important. We had some Digimon introduced. We have Sparrowmon. What are your thoughts?
I think I've always thought it looked like trash. I've always thought that Digimon looked bad, and the fact that you love it makes no sense to me.
Sparrowmon's so good and has the best theme song. I love Sparrowmon. What about Blastmon?
I love Blastmon, actually. He's my favorite.
Blastmon's so good.
You know what he is, though? He's actually just whatever... What does Dokamon
I was
turn into
literally
in
about to
Atmon?
say, was it Dokugamon? No. Yes?
It says
I can't remember. Anyway, but yes, I see what you mean. What about Ebimon? Looks like Vetamon.
I don't know what that means.
Vetamon, you know, the one with the big alien with the brain that steals Koshiro's curiosity.
Yeah, what this did remind me of. And I guess it's a cooler version of that. You really don't get to see it much, and it does a lot, but also doesn't do very much on screen. Does that make sense?
Yeah, you only see him quickly, like a couple of times.
Yeah. When you do see him good, he's like dying hard.
What about Daipenmon?
I like Daipenmon a lot. We've been over this. We've been over this a lot.
And Pheromon?
Crap, which one is that?
Pheromon was the pharaoh.
Oh, sorry, I heard Pheromon, like Ferris, like iron.
Pheromone. Oh yes, yeah. Pheromone, my favourite Digimon.
Pheromon's a cool ghost, I guess. I don't know what that big the sarcophagus he was in was, but he's a cool ghost.
That's what he looks like.
No, he's a ghost.
Well, in Digimon World 2003, he was a big sarcophagus friend.
Yeah, but in this show, the one we watched, he was a ghost.
True. The Postmon Pat this week. First up, we have One On With The Will from Azrael McCool, who says, wow, I'm really behind on the podcast, and then they says that they haven't really listened to it since we started Savers, because they wanted to rewatch it, but didn't know if they should go for dubs or subs. Dubs are much easier for them, especially because they already own the first half of it on DVD, but they've never watched the subbed version. If I was only going to watch one, which would you recommend?
I guess the dub wasn't so bad, honestly, so there's no reason not to go for it.
Yeah, the dub was fine, and if you are watching along with the show, like, we will, anything that is a big change, like we say, but the dub isn't annoying. It's a fine dub. I liked it. I liked the dub. It did have the issues with like ruining Thomas's apology in the dub. Like, that's an issue.
Small things.
Obviously, I answered this question in the With Will forums, because obviously if Azrael is far behind and hasn't started Savers yet, like, obviously he's not going to listen at the moment. But I replied on the forums. But yeah, like, the dub's fine. Like, I think the only time I would strongly suggest watching the original is with Cross Wars, because, like, the dub is not that good and is kind of annoying and also incomplete. But yeah, for Savers, watch the dub if that's the easiest one to access. Then we have another one on With the Will from Magan, who says, initially they would have suggested the offset of episodes to cover one mini-arc per podcast, but I think that the way that we've decided to do it works better. Magan says that they agree with Jay that Greymon's debut, can't speak, didn't warrant the hype, probably for the best that the dub didn't bother building him up as a psycho killer.
It would have been really cool.
Yeah, no, it would have been cool, but, like, I still feel like it was fine, but I guess I'm easily satisfied.
Well, now they've cut straight to Cyberdramon, so you really never got to see what they were referring to.
Yeah. I wish they built up Cyberdramon like that, though, right? I don't know.
Yeah, but, like, kind of.
I feel like Sparrowmon's debut was pretty cool.
Yeah, when it showed up the first time, you're like, whoa.
I was so excited!
The second time it showed up, and it couldn't beat Blastmon. You're like, okay.
Oh, but it was said to basically stand up 1-to-1, which makes it strong.
Yeah, no, it did well.
Magan goes on to say that Basemon looks a little weird, but not the weirdest as far as deviant Digimon designs go. What was it about her that makes her stand out to Jay?
For Bast, it's that they look like a person. They're like, there's nothing. There's pretty much. Both they look like a person, and they kind of look like a bad character design you would have seen in another anime or another, like, on the front of a book or something.
Oh man,
or there's a video game.
There's a Digimon that shows up in Young Hunters, and, like, I'm very excited for us to get to Young Hunters purely for this Digimon design. It's got a similar name to Bastmon, and I'm sure everyone knows about it. It's terrifying, and I don't think you'll like him because he's got the more human than Digimon look, and he's terrifying.
Is it the guy who's dressed like who's dressed like the cat?
Yeah, Tailmon. Yeah, it's Betsumon. I wasn't sure if you knew or not, but yeah.
You've shown me like 3 times, and I hate him.
Yeah, it's even worse in the actual episode, but I guess we'll get to that. in like at the end of the year, I think we get to that episode. I can't remember.
It's funny how like there's a line, and on one side is Betsumon, and the other side is Edamon, and they're really close, but they're definitely on each side of the line.
Yeah, I know. I used to just sort of like Edamon, but since the Tri-Stage Play came out, I am more interested in Edamon. Like, there could be monkeys! I know, it was so great.
That joke only came through, like, twice, like, right then, and then they never said it ever again. I was shocked.
But I like it. It's better than if they overplayed it, but I don't know, yeah. McGann then says, the dub did lessen Mikey's backstory by having the kid recover more quickly, but I think the general idea still comes across, especially through the visuals. I just wish they had included the scene from the manga where Taiki went boom boom on a leaf, then slipped and fell on his own boom boom. Aww.
That doesn't make any sense. What does that mean?
He pooped on a leaf and slipped on it.
Okay.
I think.
I mean, that makes sense, but I don't understand why you would want that. Is it a joke?
Well, the manga is apparently better than the show, so I'm very excited for when we get to cover it.
Is it a joke?
Monkeys.
That was a good one.
On Tumblr, we have one from Trickster Holy Angel, who says that they're watching Fusion at the same time and they realise that they were very gay. Or rather, they say, I'm gay as hell. Same. And at the time, they looked at Darullamon and Cutemon and thought, wow, those good boyfriends. And yeah, they are. They're such good boyfriends. Right?
Sort of. I'm not sure I see it that way. And not because I'm denying it, just like because Cutemon just won't go away. That's why they're around. We know how they met and what they're doing.
I love them. It's fine.
Trickster... Also, I'm just saying there's shape problems where nothing would fit.
The logistics of it, yeah.
Yeah, the logistics.
Then Trickster Holy Angel says, are you guys watching Yu-Gi-Oh! Vrains? The series is about virtual reality and AI, and it's similar to Atmon.
I didn't pull the idea that Vrains comes from virtual reality AI. That makes a lot of sense.
I thought it had something to do with trains, and I don't know.
That's because you watched way too much Frontier.
I thought it was like virtual reality with trains, or brains, I don't know. But yeah, I guess that would make sense with virtual reality and AI. Yeah, that makes sense. Then on YouTube, we have someone called Sam who says weebz.
The best letter we have ever received.
With a Z. And then they followed up with a reply to weebz saying interesting content nonetheless.
Okay, so I'll take it.
But to be fair...
That's what I think my whole life is.
To be fair, we have an anime podcast. Like, we can't... I don't think either of us can argue that we're not weebs.
I can. Yeah, I'm great.
Yeah, but you like... I bet you watch...
I'm a respected professional.
I bet you watch Pop Team Epic.
I don't, actually.
That's
I have
surprising.
no interest in watching it, because it's a show that's just jokes, and I'm not interested in that.
Yeah, it's just the meme show, right? Like, that's the show, right?
No, but I don't want to watch the meme show. I want to watch a show with a story. Which is why I've watched, 14 episodes of Darling in the Franxx, and I'm still not sure if I think the show is good.
It's got robots.
It does have robots. They're very underemphasized, all things considered. Alright, everybody, join us for the next episode of Megalobox Showdown in the Sand Zone. And
I'd like to point out that I recommended that Jay use the new Full Metal Panic season.
I'm not going to.
But I'm upset that I was unable to contribute. So the episode is also called, The Warrior Beelzemon Dances.
And Trouble in Paradise.
Or Heaven Zone, The Trap of Paradise.
And A Dark Cloud Over the Sky Zone.
Or The Dark Knight Digimon Arrives. Ooh, spooky. So happy bird bath, hippity bop bop to Wildwing64 for the 26th of April. So that is
happy birth.
Less than a week from now, so happy birth.
Man, this should be Wildwing 2064, so it makes sense. The 26th of April.
Ha, I get it.
That would work. Change your name on everything you do online, because that's totally possible.
You can find a link down in the link description, and a Redbubble, and it's also linked in the description, and you can get more than just shirts there too. You can contact us and stay updated. You can email us at LostinTranslationmon@gmail.com, or you can comment on this episode or message us on SoundCloud. You can follow us on @TranslationMon on Twitter, and you can find us on LostinTranslationmon on Tumblr, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. We have a discussion thread on With the Will, and a red thread in the Digimon subreddit, and we would appreciate if you would review us on Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, and any other podcast listening app that you use. Ratings really assist people finding out about the podcast. And we have a website. You can vote in polls, check out our release schedule, and check out our blog posts.
And you can donate to our Patreon, which is linked in the description, for as little as $1 a month, which gets you access to our listener Slack chat group, but there are higher levels with more rewards, such as notes, early episodes, and more. And thank you to our Patreon supporters, Sam Krieger, who has a Digimon and Pokemon podcast with Stevie called The Moncast, Stevie, who is Stevie Padmon on Tumblr and is currently taking commissions there, Whip Metal Mamamon, Joe, Anime Guy, who is Anime Guy Kurosaki and the number 1 on YouTube, Chuckmon, Hirolato, who's at Hirolato on Twitter, Jason Morosky, Ryuchi, who's Frost Mirage, you can archive our own, and Inca.com/Ryden Allen, Stephen Reeves, who's at WildWing64 on Twitter, but should be at WildWing2064.
Happy burp burp.
Kaidawashi, Mac, Noam, Riku, Shisai, who you can follow at Shisai236 on Tumblr, Kyle, the Lady Bugman, whose anime blog you can find at baguburagu.wordpress.com, Lishcoat, Azra McCool, Gene Hackmon, who has New World Sonata, which is a sci-fi fantasy audio drama podcast, Matthew, Anthony, who's at AntoClassic on Twitter, Lizmet, who's Lekmon on Tumblr, Zithobi, Ellie-Vorg, who's Ellie-Vorg on Tumblr, Sporky McForkinspoon, who has a Digimon podcast called Going Digital, Megan, Kyliek, Neoboo, The Time Optimist, Silverhead325, who's at SHF25tweets on Twitter. That was hard to say every time. Harvey, Nicholas, Anthony, and Harrison.
You can also make a wonderful donation on our PayPal, which we found in the description. It's paypal.me/edgemon. Make sure to listen to the podcast. See you guys next time. Bye!
Bye-bye!
満ちた明日をつかむ怨念